With me today on Learn to Produce is Kennedy Kimball, who I've gotten to know extremely well from meeting him at Auxin 2 years ago, first at East West Studios in Hollywood, and then the Echoplex this past year during Grammy Week. Kennedy, tell us what Auxin is.
Yes. Hey, Steve. How's it going? The Auxin Experience, man, it actually started off with about 10 to 15 people. And the whole concept of it was just to bring people into a studio, have them share some music, and just talk about music, enjoy it, and bring on networking and collaboration. Long story short, now it's grown from 10 to 15 people to over 700, 800 people last time at the Echoplex in January 2023. I'm sorry, 2024. So what the Auxin Experience is, essentially it is taking established and well-known, most times Grammy nominated or Grammy winning producers and
Mhm.
placing them on a stage and allowing them to not only play their catalog and kind of give them their flowers, but they also play unreleased music. And what the whole concept is, we're trying to bridge this gap between new producers, new artists, new people in the business from people that have some history in the business. And we
Mhm.
want to bridge this gap. So when you're inside Oxen, when you're inside the space, it is a safe space. It is a space for collaboration. It is a space for learning. And there are no gates at Oxen, no gatekeepers. If you want to go speak to somebody because you have a question, you can go talk to Focus. Focus is going to come up to you and you say, "Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm a new producer. What do you think about this new dog?" And Focus is going to talk to you right there and talk to you about his experience. And so that is what about Oxen is about. It's about bringing and bridging a gap between professionals, established people, and new producers.
One thing that I noticed out of the event was there were so many Grammy winners, Grammy nominated, platinum, and gold engineers and producers and artists. So it's a great event to really network. And are you planning to do one this coming Grammy season?
Yes, we are. So our next one we plan to, same as last year, we always do one a week going into Grammys. So we call it a pre-Grammy event. I believe Grammys is February 5th or one of those dates. So it should be the week before. We're looking at a Wednesday or Thursday. We're trying to find a location now. That's always the hardest part. I think you went last time, Steve, and the parking was a little too rough. But yes, we are right. So we are looking at a new venue. Not sure how large it will be or the location, but we want a central location and will be the week of Grammys, pre-Grammys leading up to it. We're looking at most likely a Wednesday or Thursday. So stay up to date on that. We'll keep everyone up to date. Absolutely.
Great. Growing up with two artist parents, how did your mother's work in film and your father's role in the first all black heavy metal band influence your passion for music?
I'll be honest with you, Steve. My mom and dad, growing up in that creative world, as creative struggle, right? Whether it's financially, sometimes mentally, right? There's a lot of struggles that come with a creative passion and a creative pursuit. And yes, I was completely blessed to be around them because I got to go to different sets. I remember being at the studio at 3, 4 years old. I remember going to see my dad rehearse with his band and hanging out with the drummer. So it was beautiful. But a lot of times they pushed me away from the creative pursuit because of the struggles that they encountered. So they really said, "Hey, go to school and play sports and just go down the simple path and don't struggle like us." I did it all. And I graduated. I went to school. I played baseball in college and I did everything right. And I graduated and said, "But now what?" And literally, I ended up meeting someone at Warner Records, and I said, "Hey, you know what? I don't know what it is about the music. I was a musician. I played drums, so I was about 13, and I quit. But something about the music was still speaking to me, and it led me to an internship at Warner Records in the PR department, which I did not enjoy too much. It just was not for me. But I met somebody else who led me to the A&R department. And that's when I said, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to help put together projects. I want to work closely with the artists and the producers, and I want to create something. And so my parents, they have given me, I think my mom's given me this visual side of I can see when an artist comes to me, I can see the brand. I can see what the content should look like. I know what the color should look like. I know how it should feel. And my father, I think he just gave me the ear. And what's cool is I'm still able to send my father music and artists and get his real opinion on them. And he will come back to me and say, they need to get some vocal lessons, or this needs to be reproduced a little bit. This song needs to be rearranged. It's a good song, right? So I'm able to still do that. And then I'm same thing with my mother. I'm able to send her content pieces and she would tell me that doesn't really work for him. This needs a little better lighting. I give it all to my parents. They were great. They took me to museums. They put me in chess clubs and they put me around a lot of different people. And I think that's what's really has made me successful today.
Tell me your process of when you're looking for talent as far as A&R, and then it may be different for what you're looking for as a manager.
Absolutely. As A&R, when I was working at Warner and I did an internship for about a year and a half, almost two, we have to be honest about what record labels are. They are still a business and they're still in the business of making money. So a lot what I saw as an A&R under the Warner system, you look for artists that are talented, but you're also looking for artists that have some momentum, maybe have some numbers on Spotify or have some numbers on Instagram. And when I was interning, this was the first time we started seeing that happen. So nowadays, I think anybody, especially in this day and age, as an independent artist, there are a bunch of resources for independent artists, right? You can you can buy a camera, you can start shooting content, you can record your own music at home. So I think as an A&R and an artist manager, I think we first look for somebody that's self-motivated. All right. I want somebody that's able to motivate themselves. They're hungry. The artists need to be pulling us. All right. If this is a car, if this is a vehicle, the artist is the engine. And we are the A&R, the artist manager. We're driving, we're guiding, we push when we can. If we need to pull a little bit, we will pull. But the engine of the car needs to be the artist. Now, as an artist manager, I look at someone else's potential to do more than a one record, right? I'm not looking at a one hit wonder. I'm not looking at someone that can make money for the next year or someone that can go viral on TikTok. I'm looking for longevity, right? I'm looking at someone that's a generational talent, someone that's able to put out records and albums. I remember when I used to listen to albums and not skip one song, right? And that's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking at artists who I love, who I still listen to 10, 20 years ago that I was able to grow with. So when I look for artists, I look for real talent, generational talent, and things that they have something to say. They have something to say. They have something that they want to leave here on this earth. That's positive. That's overall positive. That's something that Nirvana, something that we're always gonna Nirvana. You can turn it on today and it feels like it was when it first came out. As an artist manager, that's what I look for.
Have you had any producers who have really influenced your career?
Producers, Pharrell is probably, I think, Pharrell's amazing. Just to see how Pharrell has grown from starting with the clips and Star Trek and then doing his own stuff. And then he was doing everyone's stuff. He was doing Nelly and Jay-Z. But now he's writing songs for movies and he has his own clothing brand. I think Pharrell for sure influenced me a lot. And Pharrell is like my father. He's an outlier, right? He's not afraid to push the envelope. All right. And that was always my thing with producers, just like my father. He always tells me with music, you can't be afraid to push the envelope. Him being in an first all black rock band from Compton, he said, yes, people looked at him a little crazy when he first got on stage. That's a normal reaction. But as a producer, as an artist, I think when you're blazing a new trail and you really believe in it and you're blazing this new sound and you are saying, this is me and I don't care who cares, I'm going to put me out as much as possible. And that's what it is. I think people resonate with it. And that's why I love Pharrell, because I think he always pushes the envelope. He tries new things. Doesn't matter if it's not on right down the center. He might be a little left on this production. He's not scared to do it, and he does it, and he's fearless. And so, yes, Pharrell is definitely one of my favorite producers, and definitely influenced a lot of how I think today.
You manage a diverse range of talent under JFK Music. Tell us about a couple of the artists that you have.
Yes, absolutely. So my first artist that I have is a guy named Tay Walker, very talented R&B singer, plays keys. He, I met him through a producer of mine, friend of mine named Phonics Beats. Shout out to Phonics Beats. He did J. Cole, No Role Models, ton of stuff. But Tay had just left the Internet, which is the band with Sid, and they played with Mac Miller and Chance the Rapper, a lot of people. But Tay is this R&B kind of throwback R&B cat that has an incredible voice, and he is all about trying to make music that speaks to people, that speaks to people's soul, and it's a good energy. So shout out to Tay Walker. That's one of the artists. And then another artist of mine is a guy named Dennis Lorenzo, but he goes by Renzo. Renzo, like I said before, he's a little left, right? We're never right down the middle. A lot of people tell me, Renzo, you have such a great voice. Just do R&B. Let's just break into R&B. But Renzo grew up listening to rock music, and he grew up listening to R&B soul, and he grew up listening to hip hop, and he moved to Atlanta, and he was from Philly, and then he moved to Los Angeles. So he's been around the US and around a lot of different people and a lot of different sounds. So when you actually hear his music, it's a mix of this hip hop, R&B, rock, soul type vibe. And yeah, the guy's just amazing, and he's doing some great things. I can't get too much into it, but he's doing some great things, and look forward to seeing him more out there next year. And then I have one new artist that I'm working with right now. His name is Keith Dion. Keith Dion is an R&B singer, producer, and film director as well. And he did a couple tours. He did a tour with Vito, and he's had some success on some playlisting. And right now he's going through a rebranding, and we're looking at releasing some new music in the next few months. So shout out to Keith Dion.
Fabulous. What kind of little checklist would you tell somebody starting out in the business that they should follow?
Checklist. That's good. I think the first checklist is make sure that you're passionate about this industry. You get a lot of people that they see the industry from the outside, and they see the money and the women and the fame and right and the lights, and it looks good. It looks great. So just make sure that you're in it for the right reasons first. This business is not easy. It's a lot of no's and one yes.
Yeah.
And that's what this business is. So just make sure you're in it for the right reasons. And then the second thing I would say is make sure you have a good base and foundation and team around you and people around you, right? Make sure you find your tribe. And that's not something you have to force, right? You have to go out there, whether you produce, whether you manage, whether you're an artist, you work on your, craft. And then when you put it out there, go to networking events, meet people. You're not always going to meet the right people, right? You're going to have to filter that out. That's part of the game, but allow yourself to be around good people, positive people, and people that are pushing forward. I think everybody always tries to reach up. They always want everybody a handout, someone like, hey, come grab me, pull me up to the top. Don't think reach up. Think about what you can do on your own, and think about looking at the other people that are around you that are doing the same as you, and try to grow with them together. I think that's definitely one of the checklists. And then the last checklist I would say is be authentic. Just be authentic to who you are as a producer. Be authentic. If rock music is your thing and you like heavy guitar in your production, then put that in your production. That is who you are. You don't have to mold or be somebody or produce a certain way or sing a certain way to fit into this mold, right? Be authentic to who you are. Trust me, the music and the artists that I work with, I don't work with a lot of just straight hardcore rappers. That's just not my authentic self. I didn't grow up in that world, right? Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't grow up in that world. So for me to go in and act like I'm this hardcore hip hop historian and I know everything about hip hop and I want to manage you, right? That wouldn't be my world, right? So as a manager, I have to know myself too, and I have to know my strong suits and what kind of music, spoke to me from when I was a kid. So that's the main thing. Just be authentic. It's okay to be yourself, because to be honest, yourself is what's going to push you through. So.
Fabulous. Are you currently looking for more talent?
I'm always looking for talent. You know that, Steve. I'm always looking for talent. And it's funny because I wouldn't say that a lot of A&Rs now, especially at the labels, some of them, they're called research A&Rs, which not an issue at all. I think makes sense. It's like I said, the record label is a business, but research A&Rs, they're on Spotify, they're on TikTok, they're doing the social numbers, they're comparing, they're making sure everything makes sense because they come to some kind of number figure saying, this algorithm and this algorithm says that they're going to sell this many records. That's cool. And that's great. Not to say I don't look at that. I do. I definitely look at Spotify numbers. I definitely look at Instagram, TikTok for sure. But I don't look at those numbers when I'm thinking about signing someone per se. I look at it because I want to get an understanding of where this artist is at, where this producer is at, and where we can go. So yeah, I think that's just the main thing. I think that's the main thing I'm looking at. Yeah, for sure. So definitely always looking for new talent. And yeah, I'll find you. Trust me, I'll find you.
What's your Instagram so they can find you?
Yes, my Instagram is at USS Kennedy. And then I also have my music management page. It's at JFK Music MGT. All right. So my name again at USS Kennedy, and my music page is JFK Music MGT.
All right, Kennedy, I really appreciate you being here. Some great advice you've given to the artists out there. Let's hope that they follow that direction from.
Oh, I really do. And again, I will find you or you find me, and we don't have to, there's no force in this business, right? Things happen for a reason. I really truly believe in that. And if we are meant to cross paths and meant to work together, we will. But best of luck to all the artists, all the producers, all the managers, anybody trying to break into this business. It's not easy, but if you really just put yourself out there, if you're authentic, if you put yourself around the right people, you will be successful.